Well now, that's interesting. What I found interesting, or more or less more like mildly annoying, is there was a bit of a wobble I saw in the top of the router bit when I was running it. I was doing some flush cuts, and I could visibly see it, and I found that rather disturbing. So what I've done is I've clamped a piece of steel to the router table to hold my magnetic mount, and I've got a dial indicator down here, and I'm running it on the bearing, so if it doesn't matter the bearing's running true, it's running true to the router bit, but if the bit is going back and forth a little bit, it'll translate to the bearing. So come on down, we'll take a look and see exactly what I found. Steel plate, mag mount, dial indicator. It's running on the bearing. Now, the bearing will run true, but if the bit is wobbling within the confines of the collet, it's going to transfer to the bearing. So let's set this to 0. Now I'm not going to turn it from up here. I want to just grab it down here at the chuck, collet, and turn it. That's 11 thousandths out of true, about 2 inches above the collet. That's unacceptable. I contacted Porter-Cable to find out what the acceptable runout on the top of this router was. This is a 7515 router, by the way, the 3.5 horsepower wannabe 3.5 horsepower router from Porter-Cable. And their maximum allowable runout at the top of this router is 8 thousandths. So now let's take this part apart and bring the router up and see what kind of runout we have at the top of the router. I have the dial indicator riding against the inside lip up at the top of the cone. The cone's been cleaned out to make sure everything is nice and clean. I think I've zeroed that already, so let's watch this. Okay, I've got about 2.5 thou runout at the top of the router. That's well within the parameters that Porter-Cable requires. So what's the next step? I Google food. Yeah, Google food. It's a thing. Issues with runout on Porter-Cable routers. I just wanted to stay within manufacturers of Porter-Cable. Got a variety of interesting problems and solutions, but the overwhelming problem with these routers is the collet itself. You saw from the previous segment that the runout on my router, which is actually the bottom of the router, not the top, I just call it the top because it faces me, is 2.5 thou, which is well within the maximum allowable runout that Porter-Cable calls out for the router. That tells me the bearings are in pretty good shape, I guess. The collet, on the other hand, when you sight down the bore of the collet, it's not a smoothly machined surface. It looks like it's just roughly drilled out. There's no attempt to clean up ridges and polishing or anything like that. It's split in 4 places, most collets are. You can see they're split in 4 places, so they can get a grasp around the router bit. And it's split in one place all the way through here. Now, with that kind of arrangement, you can never get a truly concentric grasp on the router bit shaft. It's going to be a little bit out regardless of what you do. So that's the issue. It's the collet. I think the bearings are okay, so I'm going to leave those alone. But let's take a look at a solution that most people recommend. I think just about everybody recommends these guys. The consensus around the web is Precise Bits. Precise Bits. They manufacture a variety of precision collets for spindles and routers. I ordered the 2 collet kit for the Porter-Cable 7815 router, which included the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch collet. Looking at this picture, you can see how precise these things are made. They're nice and shiny and polished. In this picture, you'll note that there's 16 slots around the outer edge of this cut. 8 from the bottom and 8 from the top. It's kind of like a folded spring, so it really gives you a good concentric grab a hold of the collet, of the router shaft itself. I also ordered, for future reference, the bearing replacements if I need them at some point. So how does this work? There's, first of all, let's look at the nut. It uses its own tool, and it's precisely machined on the inside. Here's this picture. So it works like this. There's like a little snap ring arrangement in here, and you go inside. When you see where it's out of round from the hole going through the nut, you go in, fold it in sideways like that, and it captures the bit. So it's captured now. So I screw that down. Now that's finger tight, not even finger tight, and that's really precise already. If I tighten this down finger tight, I can't get the bit in there. So now I don't need this wrench anymore because I'm not using the Porter cable collet, but I still need the bottom wrench. Put in the bottom wrench. Their fancy little bespoke wrench. Give it a little tighten. You don't need to tighten it down nearly as much as you think because of the amount of surface area you're dealing with between the chuck, the collet in the router, and the router bit itself. I mean, there's a lot of surface area. So that's it. Now change of plan. I'm going to use this bit to run the test again. I'm going to run the test with the Porter cable collet, and I'm going to run the test with the Precise Bits collet. And we'll look at the results, and we'll see if we're happy or not. Set up for the test. Now, I've zeroed it. I've set it up with on the bearing. Not quite there where I want on the bearing. There we go. Let me zero it there. I think everybody's going to be horribly surprised by what we find here. Let's rotate it and find out. Let me re-zero that so you can get the actual number. That's 20 thousandths. 20 thousandths out, or a little bit more than 20 thousandths. Now, this bit is more precise than the previous bit I had in there, so surprise, surprise, surprise. Let's try it now with the Precision Bits collet. Okay, Precision Bit collet. Everything nice and snug. Same bit, same bearing, same location for everything. Take a look. That's 2 thousandths of an inch. That is, I wouldn't say orders of magnitude better, but it's a heck of a lot better. That's 2 thousandths of an inch out of run out, which is about 3 inches from the collet itself. I'm extremely happy about that. 2 thousandths of an inch, run out, 3 inches from the collet. Am I happy? Yeah. Machinist in me is not twitching as much. Not twitching at all, anyway, for this. So, what does this mean overall? Well, less vibration at the bit, at the collet itself, means less vibration in the tool. So, the tool should last longer with less vibration. You really aren't going to notice it when you're cutting wood, but when I saw that wobble, it kind of concerned me. Do I recommend these guys? Oh, hell yeah. Precision Bits. Go to their website, take a look. If you have a tool that you want be more precise, a spindle or a router in a CNC machine or in a router table, take a look at what they've got. You may want to go down this road. Now, there are other collets I can get for this kit. I got as you saw, I got the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. But I can get others if I need them, and I don't think I need them. I might get this for the router I use in a lead jig for cutting dovetails, but maybe not. So anyway, Precision Bits, take a look. And with that, and me feeling better about my router, make great things out of wood and maybe make your tools more precise.